Hello, this is Miss McCauley, and in this video you will be learning how to use the Algeblocks. You will use these for several concepts in both regular math and advanced math. Be patient with this process. They really do help you understand what's happening in the algebra unit. Both of your math teachers have Algeblocks in their rooms. You will need to look for a box that says Algeblocks, and for simplifying expressions you need a basic mat. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is name each block by its dimensions, finding the area of the blocks. The first block that we will use is the green square. Okay, that's the green square. You can see that the green square has a side length of 1 and a width of 1. So we will write 1 for the length, 1 for the length, 1 for the width. Remember that length times width equals the area. So the area of the green square is 1. So from now on, we will call the green square 1. Okay? That is our 1 unit. Now let's get out the yellow rectangle. That's the yellow rectangle. Okay, now look at it compared to the green square. You can see that it has the same width as the green square, right? It has a width of 1. The length, we really don't know though. The length is like that. We don't know what that is. So we have called it x. Okay? We find the area by multiplying the length times the width. So the area of the yellow rectangle is simply x. 1 times x is x. So our yellow rectangle is now called x. Now let's get out a yellow square. Okay, a yellow square. Now take a look at it. It has a length of x and a width of x. It's the same as the yellow rectangle, right? So it has a length of x and a width of x. So the area is length times width, which means the area is x squared. So we will call the yellow square x squared. Let's move on to the orange rectangle. Okay, the orange rectangle, again, if you compare it to the green cube, it has a width of 1, the same as the green cube. But its length, again, we don't know what the length is. So we call that y. The area is length times width, which makes it 1 times y, which is y. 1 times y. I guess I should write that down, how we got the area, x times x. So we call the orange rectangle is y. That will be known as our y rectangle. Now let's get out the orange square. The orange square is similar to the yellow square, except, look at it, it has a length of y and a width of y. So we have length y, width y. Sorry, my writing's kind of messy. The area will be y times y, which is y squared. So we call our orange square y squared. And then the last one that we use is our light orange rectangle. Okay, if you look at it, look at its dimensions. It looks like it has a width of x and a length of y. So it has a length of y and a width of x. If we multiply those together, we get x times y, which equals xy. So we call this guy xy. You're going to need to know these names. So please, let me see if I can change the color of my pen. Please circle the names of these objects, or cubes or squares, so that you know from now on what they're called. Okay, now let's start page 2, reading the blocks. If you look at this, it says, like blocks can be grouped to represent greater numbers or expressions. So for example, they have groups together. Four yellow squares, okay? And each of the areas is x squared, right? And we have 4 of them. So we would call that 4x squared. So you can see that right there. Okay, let's go to the next one. What if you have 5 orange rectangles? Okay, 5 orange rectangles. What would the name you use to name each rectangle? Okay, remember the name of each rectangle is y, right? What is the expression represented by all 5 of these algeblocks? Think about the process used in the example. Describe how you named the expression. Press pause now, try to write down your answer here, and then check it with mine. Welcome back. Hopefully you said, I have 5 orange rectangles, so that must mean that this is 5y. If you did say that, you are correct. Now it's time to practice. Use Algeblocks to make your own expressions. Take a handful of like blocks and write the expression represented. I will do one for you, and then you do the next. Okay, it says make sure that all the blocks in your handful are the same. So we can do some that are the same and some that are different if you want. But let's go ahead and I'll grab a handful. Okay, I grabbed 4 light orange rectangles. So I would write a 4 here. Okay, now what's helpful to do here is to write the areas of each shape right next to it so you remember. The green square is 1. The yellow rectangle is x. The yellow square is x squared. The orange rectangle is y. The orange square is y squared. And the light orange rectangle is xy. So if I have 4 xy's, my expression would be 4xy. Okay, now we'd like you to go ahead and do 3 examples on your own, okay? So please do 4, 5, and 6 on your own. Grab a handful of blocks, making sure that all of them are the same. Remember your names. The green square is 1, the yellow rectangle is x, x squared is yellow square, orange rectangle is y, orange square is y squared, and light orange rectangle is xy. Please show your teachers when you're finished. Show. That way we can make sure you're on the right track. Okay, now that you've practiced putting together expressions for like blocks, we're going to do some unlike groups of blocks now. Unlike blocks can be grouped to represent greater numbers or expressions. The first step is to sort your blocks into groups. So let me go ahead and get the same blocks out that you see in the note sheet. It looks like you have 2 yellow rectangles, which are x, and 4 green cubes. Let's just take a look and show that I have the same thing. Yeah. Okay, step 1, sort the blocks into groups. Well, I already have mine sorted into groups, right? I've got my green cubes and my yellow rectangles, which are x. Count the number in each group. You can see that I have 1, 2 yellow rectangles and 1, 2, 3, 4 green cubes. Read the number. 2 times x, because there are 2x. And 4 times 1, because the green cube represents 1. And then write it down. You can see that we've written it down right here. 2x plus 4. That's what that expression is. Okay, suppose that 1 orange square was also included in the group. Let me just erase that circle. Suppose that 1 orange square was included in the group of blocks in the example. So 1 orange square, it says. Let's pull one of those out. So if I add an orange square, how does that change my expression? You try to write it down and then come back and check your answer. Hopefully you said 2x plus 4 plus a y squared. Write the expression represented by the following algeblocks for number 2. I'm going to go ahead and get them out as well. Okay, so it looks like I have 1 yellow square, 4 yellow rectangles, and 4 green cubes again. that's what I have. Go ahead and write the expression next to this example, and then pause the video and come back and check your answer when you've finished. The answer that you should have gotten is an x squared, because that's the yellow squared. You have 4x, because there are 4 yellow x's, and you have 4 green cubes, which is 4. Okay, hopefully that's the same response that you got. Now it's time for you to do some on your own. Okay, let me just erase this. It says, use Algeblocks to make your own expressions. Take a random handful of blocks and write the expression represented. This is going to be exactly like what you did on the last page, except now you want to have some different blocks. So I'm just going to do one example for you, and then I want you to do the rest on your own. Okay, so let's take a look at what I have represented here. That's a lot of blocks. Okay, so first thing you want to do is write what you have. So it looks like I have 2 green squares, 2 yellow rectangles, 2 yellow squares, 2 orange rectangles, 1 orange square, and 1 light orange rectangle. Let me write again the values for these blocks. The green square represents 1, the yellow rectangle is x, the yellow squared is x squared, the orange rectangle is y, the orange square is y squared, and the light orange rectangle is xy. So my expression would be 2 plus 2x plus 2x squared plus 2y plus y squared plus xy. That's a big expression. You don't have to grab as many blocks if you don't want. But I'd like you to do 4, 5, and 6 on your own, and then please show your teachers. You can write down your blocks in your handful, or you can also take a picture and put it in, whatever you prefer. Okay, the last 2 pages in this packet will be for you to do some more practice on your own. Let me just help you with the first couple of examples. The first thing says to model the expression. You will be given expressions and you need to model it. So let's do the first one, the example together. It says model the expression 3x squared plus 4xy plus 1. So I'm going to get out my mat, okay, and it says 3x squared. So that would be the yellow square. It shows you that the yellow square is x squared. So I need 3 of those because it's 3x squared. It also shows that they are positive because there is no minus sign, so they go on the positive side. Then it's 4xy, so we need 4 light yellow rectangles. Hold on, I actually need to travel to get some more yellow rectangles. There's 4 yellow rectangles. And then plus 1. That's simply 1 green cube. That's what the model looks like. When you do your modeling, you can take a picture and put it right in. Okay? Let's take a look at what else needs to happen. Okay, number 1. Which block would you use to model the expression 8y squared? How many blocks would you use? Answer that question. Number 2, model the expression 3x plus 4y plus 3xy plus 5. Remember how the example was modeled. Describe how you decided which Algeblocks to use. You should insert a picture, okay? So I'm going to put picture. Now, down below for practice, model each expression. Sketch each mat when you've completed. Don't sketch it. You should take a picture. Picture. And you only need to do the evens or the odds. Okay, so I'm going to write evens or odds. Okay, that's all you need to do on this page. Let's go to the next page. Just need to erase this stuff so it will go away. thing, or the last page. Okay. This says, name each block by its area. This is just a simple review. You will put the name of the block underneath each one. So under the green cube, for example, you would write 1. You need to list that under each one. And then practice again. You can go ahead and do all of these. There aren't too many of these. So go ahead and again, you want to take pictures. Okay, so we're going to put pictures. You can just insert a picture of the Algeblock. And the last question is a challenge question. It sounds hard, but it's really not. It says, describe a block that has an area of z. Describe a block that has an area of z squared. Let me show you a couple of things. So we know that the yellow rectangle has an area of x because it has a width of 1 and a length of x. We know that the orange rectangle has a width of 1 and a length of y. So if we had a block that had an area of z, what do you know has to be true? You must know that the width probably looks like that, and your length is going to be something else. And then you want to do one that is z squared. Again, think about our other squares. We know that our x squared has a side length of x and a side width of x. So what must a z squared look like? I know you can handle this. Go ahead and try it. This is the end of your learning about Algeblocks experience. Please make sure to show all your pictures to your teachers when you've finished.